Hey, welcome back to another episode for Life of Living Well. My name is Richard. Before I dive into the topic that I have for us this week, I'd like to say if you like to know one or two things about this community, Life of Living Well, you can find it out on our community website at www.lifeoflivingwell.com. We have a lot of amazing resources, the books, the podcast, the video blog, and the articles that we release every week. And if you also would like to sign up to our newsletter and join the part of people that are already receiving weekly newsletter, you just need to add your email to the newsletter list, and then every time we publish or push the article out, you will be one of those in that list that will receive it. And thank you. Without taking much of your time, let's dive into the message that I have for this week. This week, I'm looking at the most prominent two ways we people responding to our emotions and our need. So the reactive versus responsive. Why your emotional response shapes your life. So that's the topic of the message this week. And I'm hoping that by the time I get to the bottom of this message, you will find one or two things that you didn't know before, and it will become enlightenment and something that you can reason, you can think about, and you can take a step toward it. So let's dive into it once again. As we normally do on this podcast, is to take one or two individual inspirational words relating to the topic that we are discussing. And for this particular message, I'm taking from Sharon Weil, and he put it this well. In order to be effective, be responsive. In order to be responsive, listen. That's a very powerful message from Sharon Weil. Once again, I put the quote and I read, in order to be effective, be responsive. In order to be responsive, listen. And you hear that word, listen. It's really difficult for many of people, a lot of us, unless you are intentional about it. How many people pay attention to how they feel? Talk less of giving that gift to another person. And you can't give what you don't have. So it takes a certain level of self-awareness to understand your default response to your feelings and sensitivities. How do you react or respond to an event outside of you? Maybe disrespect or rejection. Many people are not even aware of how they react to events around them. Instead, what do? External circumstances often control their responses, sometimes leading to costly outcomes such as public embarrassment or deep shame. The same people that they have taken their own life because of this. Or they overreact to an event that few hours later they feel so embarrassed and feel ashamed about their own behavior. The word we use can reveal whether we are reacting or responding. You might hear someone say, they made me shout, you made me angry. They made me angry. I was horrible to you because you caused it. So I see the other person control their emotions. So your feelings can be a wonderful servant when you take time to pause and receive the message they are sending. But they can be terrible master if you allow them to rule over you. Imagine a traffic lighting. He's not going to drive the car for you, but he's going to send you some messages. And most of those three messages sent for you. One is to pause or ready to go. Another one is to stop completely. Another one that it shows in many places in the world is show you that it's time to go. You still make a judgment whether there's a hazard on the road, whether there's a bike rider beside you. You check your blind spot. The same with what we feel inside. When the outside of us, we have no control about it. So your feelings can be a wonderful servant when you take time to pause and receive the message they are sending. But these feelings also can also be a terrible master if you allow them to rule over you. So in this podcast, we want to explore two different settings that every woman possesses, either to fight or flight, what we call the reactor and the responder. So let's start from the reactive side. So reactors put intense emotions into their responses. Even when the situation doesn't justify such a strong reaction, their irritation and anger are hard to hide, whether in public or private, whenever they perceive injustice. You have seen this on the road. The driver who explodes with rage at a minor inconvenience, whether it's being cut off or slowed down. Or consider the romantic partner who panics if you don't reply to their text within minutes, fearing abandonment. Reactors often believe they know what others are thinking. For example, I once spoke with an acquaintance who blamed herself for our country's economic and political struggles. This person just relocated to that country, and she relocated in the times of upheaval in the country where there's a political imbalance, there is an economic challenge, and the decision and anger was pointed toward the government policy long before she actually arrived to the country. So when I asked her why she thinks she is the cause of the problem, you'll be surprised I replied. So she replied that everything she touched always end up bad. But I reminded her of all the positive things she had experienced in the past year. A work promotion, family reconnections, buying our own home, starting a new relationship after divorce, and enjoying good health. As I listed them, she smiled, realizing how our perspective had been distorted. So our habits and mindset likely shape how we interpret events and how we feel about them. Overreactions are often about something deeper than the immediate situation. Sometimes they are tied to past trauma, unresolved pain, and simply stress and emotional overwhelm. So what are the common signs of being reactive? So let's quickly go through it. Number one, acting impulsively. Number 2, disassociating or checking out during conflict. And number 3, being highly sensitive to criticism. Number 4, perfectionism. And number 5, struggling to accept the present moment. Because these kind of people focus too much on what has gone and worry a lot what may happen in the future. And number 6, difficulty managing anger. And lastly, jumping to conclusions. If he doesn't or she doesn't pick up my call, it's because this is happening. Sometimes we worry so much that the other people are worried about us. But reality that is not the case. Most people worry about themselves. And that takes us to the other side, or another way we respond to the events or feelings or emotions that are around us or trigger something within us. The responsive. A responsive person listens, observes, like Sharon Weil stated, and they evaluate before acting. Take John, for example. One afternoon, he went hiking with 2 female friends who secretly harbored resentment toward each other. The tension escalated during the hike, and the car ride home was filled with unspoken hostility. Instead of ignoring the conflict, John dropped them off separately, then later called to ask what had happened. By listening and encouraging them to open up, he helped de-escalate the situation and gave them space to express their frustration toward each other. Responders practice mindfulness, set healthy boundaries, and communicate clearly and compassionately. They have realistic expectation of others and thoughtfully evaluate the expectation placed upon them. Finally, as I'm drawing this to the end, none were born as responsive or reactive. It is something that we learn or our primary home, how we grow up. So if it's something we learn and become habit, it's also something we can relearn and improve and adapt different habits. And with that, it creates more harmony into our life, into our existence. So finally, the power of choice. The good news is that neither of these modes is fixed. You can move from being reactive to being responsive if you are willing to grow. Being responsive builds credibility as a leader, deepens relationships, and encourages emotional intelligence, patience, curiosity, and compassion. I hope this message helps someone. If you'd like to ask any question or you have any suggestion toward this podcast, please send your email and I'm glad to respond back. So you can drop a comment on our website and we will get back to you. Thank you for your time, and please share our podcast, share our material with your friends and family, and let's keep growing the community. Have a wonderful week. Ciao.